Good morning, students. Let us continue with the chapter Poverty as a Challenge. Poverty as seen by social scientists. Who are social scientists? Social science is the branch of a science devoted to the study of societies and the relationships among individuals within those societies. So they basically study about the society, the relationships in the society. So, in the beginning, I told you that poverty has undergone lot of changes. In earlier days, a person not having just food, shelter, and clothing, that person is said to be poor. But today, the meaning has quite changed. The indicators of poverty today are not only income and consumption, how much the person is earning and how much the person is spending. That is not the only criteria to measure this poverty now. Poverty is seen by the social scientists in a different way. So, according to them, they look at the poverty as when there is lack of, that is, when there is more illiteracy level, lack of general resistance due to malnutrition, that is, people who are undernourished, they are weak, lack of access to health care, lack of job opportunities, lack of access to safe drinking water, sanitation, etc. So, person not having even all these indicators, that person is also said to be a poor person now. So, analysis of poverty based on social exclusion and vulnerability today is becoming very common. So, today poverty is based on the basis of social exclusion and vulnerability. We can also say that they are causes and consequences of poverty. So let us first of all do what is the meaning of social exclusion. Social means it is society. Exclusion means not not including in our society. So social exclusion means exclusion from the prevailing social system and its rights and privileges, typically as a result of poverty or the fact of belonging to a minority social group. So in our country, there are few people who are not included in our society. For example, if you look into your surroundings, if there is a poor child who is working in a maybe a dhaba or a small restaurant or a small shop, will you include that child into your friends group? Not, definitely not. So in that manner, we are excluding those people, and these people, they live in such surroundings where all the poor people live together. These poor people are living in the same kind of unhygienic surroundings. For example, the poor huts or which are called as slums, where there are not even basic facilities are there. So such conditions, they are surrounded by them. So do you think they will be able to overcome those surroundings when we are not including them into our society, when we are not allowing them to be a part of our society? How they are going to come out of the poverty? We are not giving them any helping hand to come out of the poverty, so they will be never be able to come out of that cycle of the poverty at all. So they are not able to enjoy the benefits which we have been given. For example, a park in our society, will you allow these poor children, maybe who are begging on the streets, to play in your park? Definitely not. So again you are excluding them from your society. A very good example is given here. For example, lower caste people. In our country, there is a caste system in the Hinduism where we generally exclude the lower caste society. So this working class, generally, they come in this society, the lower caste society, they are generally excluded from the equal opportunities. They are not given equal opportunities in the society. So, social exclusion does may lead to but can cause more damage than having very low income. If you say a person is not having much income, he is having low income, then also he is not sad, he is not unhappy. But if that person is excluded from the society just because he belongs to a lower caste or he belongs to maybe a poor family, if you are excluding that person, then definitely that is going to damage his life more than the income. That is what is called as a social exclusion. So, social exclusion is a cause as well as consequence of poverty. That means because there is social exclusion, they are these people are poor. In other way also you can say the people are poor because there is social exclusion. So, in both ways, it is a cause and consequence of the poverty. So, what is needed if we want to remove poverty from our society? We need to include these people in our society and give them all the benefits which we are getting. Then only we can remove the poverty. The next term we come to is vulnerability. Now, what is vulnerability? It is a kind of getting harmed, the society which gets more harmed. That is, the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. That means vulnerability is a kind of a measure which tells us that which society gets more harmed when there is any kind of calamity. Any kind of calamity, whether it is a flood or maybe a drought or a cyclone or a tsunami, whatever it is, which society gets more harmed, more affected, that is a measure which is known as the vulnerability. So, if we look into the vulnerability, who is at greater risk in our society? If we see, the greater risk is mainly for the backward caste people, those who are widows, those who are handicapped people, they generally remain poor in the society. So, especially when there is a kind of a risk or the calamities which I was mentioning you, like earthquake, tsunami or terrorism, these are the people who are mainly affected. For example, if there is a price rise, the rich people will not get affected by that. But if there is a price rise, definitely the poor people gets affected. For example, in present COVID situation, it is the poor people who are becoming more poorer, but it has not affected the rich people. So that is how the vulnerability is described. So whether it is a flood and an earthquake or simply a fall in the availability of jobs, it is these people who are at greater risk. So these two terms, social exclusion and vulnerability, they are the causes and consequences of the poverty. Now we come to the chapter's very important part, that is poverty line. We always see that this person is poor because he is below the poverty line, or the other person is rich because he is above the poverty line. But what is this poverty line? Is this line drawn anywhere on the earth where we just cross and say that yes, I have become rich or I have become poor? No, poverty line is not drawn anywhere. Poverty line is just an imaginary line to measure the income or the consumption level of a person. So, it is a common method used to measure poverty, which is based on income or consumption level. A person is considered poor if his or her income or consumption level falls below given minimum level. So who is BPL or APL? A person who is above that poverty line, which is a considered minimum level line, considered minimum level, that minimum level which is required to live your life. So if that minimum level is there with that person, we say the person is above poverty line, else the person is below poverty line. But what is necessary to satisfy these basic needs is different at different times in different countries. So if we compare the developed countries and developing countries poverty line, it will be definitely different. If we compare our country's poverty line with some country in Africa, definitely our poverty lines will be different because our needs are different, our developmental levels are different. So poverty line is not a fixed line at all. Even in our country, it is not a fixed line. For example, what was poverty line 50 years back is different from the poverty line which is at present. And what is poverty line at present will be different, which will be there in the next maybe 20 or 30 years, definitely different. Maybe in next 20 30 years every person will be having a car in India. So the person who is not having a car in India, after 20 years, maybe that person is considered as poor. But not today. Today having a car is a luxury. But in America, if you talk about a person not having a car in United States of America is considered a poor person. If you go to US and you don't have a car, then you are considered as a below poverty line person. But it is not same in India, definitely. In India, having a car at present is a luxury. So poverty line it varies from one country to another country. It depends on the existing level of development and accepted minimum social norms. That is why different countries will have different poverty lines. Now let's come to India, that how this poverty line is measured. While determining the poverty line in India, what is the basic thing required for determining poverty line? The basic minimum level requirements are food requirements, clothing, footwear, fuel, light, educational and medical requirement. These are the few basic things which are required for the present society for living their a normal life, a minimum life. I'm not talking about a luxurious life, a minimum life to live. These things are required, and these are called as or determined as subsistence goods, which are required to live our subsistence level, a minimum basic level, subsistence level. And now can we count that how which people is having how many clothes, this person is having this many clothes, or this person is having footwear? It is not possible to count in this manner. So first of all, we have to convert all these goods into the rupees, which is our Indian currency. So all these physical quantities, food, clothes, fuel, etc., all these are multiplied by their prices in rupees. That is minimum clothing, minimum food, minimum shelter, minimum educational level, minimum medical requirement. For all these, how much money is required? That is estimated. That is calculated, or that is estimated to know the poverty line. So poverty line is based on the desired calorie requirement. So what is the most important thing out of all this? We can live without footwear, we can live without light and fuel, but we cannot live without food. So food is the basic requirement, and that food is calculated in terms of calories required by a person's body, minimum calories, how much a person's body requires, that minimum calories is calculated. For example, food items such as cereals, pulses, vegetables, milk, oil, sugar, etc. All these are calculated. All these are calculated in rupees, that calories, that how much calorie is required for a person to work efficiently. And this calorie needs also varies from person to person, and it also varies among the ages, it also varies among the males and females. So on an average, and an average is calculated for all the people. So on an average in India, what is the calorie requirement of a person? Calorie requirement of a person in India on an average is 2400 calories per person per day in rural areas. That means if you are living in a rural area, in a village, then you require per day 2400 calories. But if you are living in an urban area, like we all are living in Delhi, so if we, how many calories we require in the cities? In cities, a person requires 2100 calories per person per day. Now, why is this difference is there, that in a rural area, a person requires more calories than a person who is living in an urban area? Now, this difference is there because in rural area, a person has to perform physical work. For example, you might have seen in a village, the person is working, physical work he is doing, he or she, in the fields. But whereas in an urban area, a person is doing a mental work. Like if you see your teachers, they are not doing any physical work, they are doing mental work. So there is no, the burning of the calories is not taking place if they don't do the exercises. In the cities, the people have to do the exercises to burn their calories. But in the villages, the calories automatically burn out because they are doing already the physical work. So that is why they need more calories than in the urban areas. But now can we measure the calories? Which person is taking how many calories? Again not. So to now these calories are calculated, that for to buy these calories how much money is required. To buy these calories, how much money is required? Monetary expenditure, which is called as, that is calculated along with these food grains. Other than the food grains, not only the calories required, other than the calories required, even the minimum clothing, minimum education level, medical equipment. Now all these are added to these minimum calories, and now the calculations are done. So I'm just reading this. The monetary expenditure per capita needed for buying these calorie requirements. So how much money is required to buy these minimum calories of food grains, etc. That is other requirements, is periodically calculated in India, and that is given here. And children, now these figures you have to note down because old books will have the old figures. And in the exam you have to give only these new figures, because as I told you, the figures, especially these kind of figures like poverty line, it keeps on changing periodically. What was 50 years back, the poverty line is different from what is today. So let's do the next para. You can see, on the basis of these calculations for the year 2011 and 12, that is the last census 2011 and 12, the poverty line for the person was fixed at rupees 816 rupees per month for rural areas and rupees 1000 for urban areas. Now what does that mean? To buy 2400 calories per day in a rural areas, that person requires minimum rupees 816 per month. 816 rupees per month is required for every person in a rural area to buy the minimum calories, that is 2400 calories per day. That means if a person in a rural area is earning less than rupees 816 per month, that person is known as below poverty line person. If the person is earning more than rupees 816 per month in rural area, that person is said to be above poverty line. Now we come to the urban area. In urban area, if a person is earning rupees 1000, which is given here, you can see, if a person is earning rupees 1000 per month, that person is said to be above poverty line, 1000 and above 1000. If a person is earning less than 1000 rupees per month, that person is said to be below poverty line. I think children, I am very clear, this is the most important part because this is poverty line. So that 816 rupees is the poverty line for rural India. 1000 rupees is the poverty line for the urban areas. So if a person is earning less than 816 per month, if you are in a village, then you will be said as below poverty line. If you are earning 816 rupees and above that, you will be said as above poverty line. But if a person is earning rupees 1000 and more than that, in an urban area, in a city, you will be called as above poverty line. But if you are earning less than rupees 1000 in urban area, then you will be called as below poverty line in the urban areas. Now, who calculates these? These all are calculated by these all, that is poverty line. This is periodically, that is whenever the census is done, it is calculated by National Sample Survey Organization, that is NSSO. National Samples Organization. 1 mark question, children, this is. So one example is given here, that is in 2011 and 12, a family of 5 members living in rural areas and earning less than about rupees 4080 per month will be below the poverty line. In the same way, a similar family in the urban areas would need a minimum of rupees 5000 per month to meet their basic requirements. The poverty line is estimated by NSSO. As I have told you, it is 1 mark question, children. So, but if we have to compare different countries, now this 816 and 1000 rupees is for our country. When we are comparing the poverty of our Indian people, but if we have to compare the poverty between the countries, then the World Bank has given a criteria, that is if a person, that is in dollars, because when we are comparing the whole world, we are comparing in dollars. So 1.90 per person per day. If a person is earning less than $1.90 per person per day, that person is called as below poverty line by the World Bank. And if that person in any country, that person is earning less than $1.90 per day, that person is called as below poverty line. So less than $190 below poverty line. If we are comparing the world poverty, children, not in India, don't confuse between these two figures. So this figure $1.90 is for the comparison of the world, not for the India. So I hope I am very clear. So if a person is earning less than $1.90, let the person live in any corner of the world, that person is called as below poverty line by the World Bank. If that person is earning more than $1.90 and above, that person is called as above poverty line by the World Bank. So let's discuss this question quickly and finish off this video, children. And the question here is, Why do different countries use different poverty lines? I have told you that what is poverty line for India? 816 rupees and rupees 1000. It is entirely only for India. But if you compare with US, France or Germany's or Britain's poverty line, it would be different because their development is different, their requirements is different, their social norms are different. That is the answer, children. And for today, that's all, children. And let's please revise this part. This is very, very important, and learn these figures which I have given you, the poverty line. World poverty line and Indian poverty line figures, and in the next video we will continue, children. So that's all for today. Have a good day, students.